Hey everyone, Texas Lizard here. Just got back from Bass Pro Shops and Academy and picked up a bunch of new chatterbaits because I've been having a hard time keeping bladed jigs in stock. I haven't had very good luck with chatterbaits like everyone else seems to. I know everyone swears by them, so I'm trying my best to learn them and kind of get out of my comfort zone and get used to them, see if I can catch some more fish with them. Academy currently has the Strike King Thunder Cricket in stock, which is the new hot ticket item. There's a huge buzz about them right now. Who knows if they're the real deal or if it was just a marketing gimmick to get everyone in the stores to buy them and get them online. I know some places have been back ordered on them, but I picked up a couple of them. So run through 4 different chatterbaits that I have in front of me here. We'll look at the differences between them, and then we're going to take them to a pond for a swim test. I've got the same cheapo trailer on them, these Cabela's Go-To Hoochie Coochie in icicle color. I've been having good luck on this same color with the Kitech Easy Shiners. So these aren't nearly as wobbly as the Easy Shiners are, but they feel like they're going to be a lot more durable. So I normally wouldn't have this paired with this color, but since I already had it tied on, this is the original chatterbait. It's a bluegill color with a gold blade. It has a hook guard on it to make it a little more weedless, exposed hook. Then we have the Bass Pro Shops Enticer. Real narrow blade on this, so I don't know if it's going to wobble a whole lot. It might just vibrate back and forth a bit. That's white and got a little bit of a silver fleck in there. And neat thing about this is it's a free swinging, so it might add a little bit more action to the paddle tail. We'll see. This is the Chatterbait Freedom, which also has the free swinging hook. Great thing about these is you can change out the hook on them, and I think what's on here currently is probably a 5/0. It looks like a pretty big hook. I'd probably downsize if I was doing it myself, but this is what came stock. You can Texas rig it so it's completely weedless. Don't even need the weed guard for it. And then last but not least, we have the Thunder Cricket with that neatly shaped blade on there. The Thunder Cricket is a completely exposed hook. I didn't see any with a weed guard. I don't know if they make them yet or not, but it is not free swing. It has the exposed hook, so I'm sure I'm going to lose it right away. And then this one I'm going to put on my Flashy Swimmer underspin to see if it gets any more or less bites than the Kitech Easy Shiner. So let's hit a pond and see what happens. All right, first things first, let's do what we came here to do. All right, just so that I've got the same trailer on as the other ones, I've got this white thing thrown on this bluegill pattern, original Z-Man chatterbait. Not sure if you'll be able to see real well with the overcast skies, but let's just see what this looks like. Yeah, this trailer, it doesn't kick a whole lot. It's got a little bit of wobble to it. Let's do a little faster. Kind of just vibrates. It shakes back and forth and vibrates while it's doing so. Let it sink to the bottom. And with the original, it takes a bit to get that blade going sometimes. You got to start it somewhat violently. Yeah, I really hate this tail, this paddle tail. If I wasn't afraid of wasting the Kitechs, I'd much rather be throwing those, but those cheap Cabela's things were only $1.99 a pack, so I figured for this purpose it would be alright. But man, it does not have great action to it. It just kind of drags behind there sometimes. Gross. There it goes. Alright, well, let's give it a legitimate cast and see if we can get something. There we go, right at the edge of the weed line there. Pop it out of it. Let it sit. Pop it. Yeah, I don't see any fish activity over here like there was a couple days ago. I think that front might have thrown them off. I know this design certainly catches a lot of moss. I don't know if all of them do or if some are worse than others, but I guess we'll see. Switch this one out. I've got a snap on here just for ease and speed of changing these out today. And I've heard some pretty reputable sources say that sometimes they'll throw a snap on these anyway, just because it gets them started a little quicker. Creates a little bit more, easier to vibrate on the retrieve. Alright, so this one is the Chatterbait Freedom swing head. That already looks a lot better. You can tell a huge difference in the tail. It doesn't seem to drag as much as it did with the original. Retrieving real slow, got that wobble to it. It's dragging a little there. I think I might need to go a little faster than that. It's got a nice little shimmy to it. I like that a lot better. These are all half-ounce chatterbaits, by the way, bladed jigs. Seems to be pretty easy to get this one to vibrate too. It's a lot easier to get activated than the original. Ooh, cast a mile. Yeah, that does activate a lot easier than the original. I'm just barely creeping and I'm still getting a bit of a wobble to it. Where the original, you have to occasionally speed it up quite a bit to keep it going. That one didn't seem to get quite as much grass and moss on it, actually. Maybe that swing head prevents it, I'm not sure. The blade is similarly shaped, so it doesn't have anything to do with the blade. The rod and reel I'm throwing is an Abu Silvermax 6.4-1. And the rod is a H2O Express Premier Edition, medium heavy, 7 foot. I'm not using my good Shimano setup because this tip is just a little bit softer, even though it's a medium heavy fast, just like the Shimano is. It's got a little bit more give to the tip. I think that bodes better for a chatterbait so that you can feel that wobble a bit better. Yeah, I really like this. You can reel it real slowly and still get the wobble out of it. Looks better, feels better, is better. This is the Bass Pro Enticer. This was only $4.50 or something like that. So even if it isn't great, I'll throw this in situations where I'm more likely to get hung up. Although, this one might not get hung up as much since it does have that that weedless T-rig type setup, the weedless rig. Ooh. That looks pretty neat. That swivel head puts a lot of dancing action on that skirt. pretty easy to get going. This one, the jig itself doesn't wobble as much, so it lets the tail impart its own action a little bit better. It actually makes the tail of this super cheap trailer look a little better. Quite a bit better. The tail looks on this one. That is very interesting. Enticer is maybe not quite as bad as I thought it would be. But the wobble on that skirt is pretty neat. More of a wiggle than a wobble. May not catch anything today. Not the best conditions for flashy things with the overcast and silver blades. But that's really not what this is about. This is about testing out the new stuff. Hung up on some grass there. So this one may hang up a little bit easier than the others. Bring in quite a bit of grass on my first cast over there. Cast it out into the open. We shouldn't get quite the snag up this time. Okay, it takes a little bit more to get this one started than it does with the Freedom. And you definitely can't feel it as much in the tip. You can definitely tell that it's going, but with that lack of wobble from the jig itself, there's definitely a different feel to it. And we're hung in the moss again. The moss on the grass. Interesting. There she's going. Yeah, I'd rate the retrieval on this one somewhere in between the original Chatterbait and the Freedom Chatterbait. I'm going pretty slowly, and it's managing to keep wobbling. It's getting hung up easy though. Alright, I'm going to retrieve it a little faster to try to keep it off the bottom and try to keep it clean. So I'm throwing into an area that I know has more grass and moss. Just curious how it comes through it if I'm going with a little bit of a faster rate of retrieve. Yeah, it came through a little better that way. When I felt it, I could pop it. And it came out relatively clean. It's just got a tiny bit on there. That's not too bad. Alright. It is time to try the Thunder Cricket. Let's see what all the hype is about. I wanted straight white, but they were out of straight white. There doesn't seem like there's as much skirt material on the Thunder Cricket as there is with the others. This is the Enticer compared to the Thunder Cricket. It definitely has a shorter skirt. It's just a smaller profile in general. About a ½ inch shorter, 3/4 inch shorter than the other. Consider from the head to the hook, it's maybe even close to a full inch. But from. And the skirt material on the Enticer is a lot thicker than on the Strike King. Yeah, this is the Chatterbait original material. It's got some thick ones and some thin ones, but they're all pretty long, pretty thick, pretty durable. Well, these feel really, really lightweight, which I suppose could impart some extra action on the skirt. Holy cow, that sinks fast. I don't think it has quite as much violent wobble to it as the Freedom does. That tail on there looks beautiful though. Wow. That really helps impart action on that tail. Wobble's pretty tight, not quite as tight as the Enticer, but different speeds. Slow, still has a little bit of a tail wobble. It's not quite just dragging like it did on the original Chatterbait. Quick. Looks nice. Looks real nice. Alright. Give it a cast into the middle first. Alright. Let's let it sink and see how quick it is to get started on the retrieve. Oh, there's no effort to get it started. Super slow, I can still feel it. Speed it up. Yeah, it doesn't play into the tip all that much, but you can still feel it. Hung up. That's a good piece of grass. Well, I guess you kind of have to expect that with an exposed hook, huh? That's the downside to this. I don't know if they make them with weed guards yet. I think they do. I remember seeing it on Tackle Warehouse, I think. They didn't have them at Academy. Maybe I'm imagining it. But if I had to do it again and had the choice, I'd buy one with a weed guard. It'd be really cool if it had this blade and a free swinging hook. But then it might not have the same beautiful tail action that it does. Pull it through the thick stuff over here. Go with a pretty high retrieve rate. Once I feel it, I'll pop it out. There it is. Didn't pop through quite as cleanly as the Enticer did. Had to give it a little bit harder yank to get it to pop. But it came out relatively cleanly. Tiny bit of grass on it. So yeah, they're all a little different. The one that I like least is definitely the original Chatterbait. But we'll walk around the pond and see if we can't see anything on beds and maybe throw that underspin again to see the difference between the Cabela's trailer and the Kitech. Alright, well, since this is the only area in this pond that is not completely overrun with this thick matted grass all the way around it, 15 feet out, we'll just look at the action on the tail with the underspin here. No, that's not too bad. It's a tighter kick than the Kitech Easy Shiner, which has a beautiful slow wobble to it, side to side. This one is pretty tight, but it kicks nice. It looks okay. It'd probably still get some bites, be a little bit more durable. But man, those Kitech Easy Shiners sure do draw the bites. They are not durable at all, but probably worth the money if you absolutely need to catch some fish. Well, that was a bust, but I really didn't expect to catch any fish today. Kind of weird conditions. Post-frontal, cloudy. Fish aren't used to seeing clouds. It's been sunny for a long time. Real windy, so man, it's tough to keep the slack out of your line, even with a half-ounce bladed jig. And a ton of grass at this pond. There always is. There's one spot to land a fish cleanly out of with finesse, right by that drainage area. Other than that, you got to have 65-pound braid in order to yank them out of that stuff. And definitely not what I was throwing today. But you know, just came out because I know it's relatively clear water and thought we might be able to get a good look at those jigs and trailers. So learned something at least. Every jig is made different. No two are created equally. So maybe they'll each have their purpose. Maybe I'll lose them before I catch a fish like I usually do. Tight lines, everyone.